Women deserve to have a supportive network of like-minded women who empower, discover, and embrace her true divinity. We believe when women feel safe, loved, accepted, they feel empowered to achieve their goals and highest values. And this is what we bring to you through our organization.
Welcome everyone to Crystal within the 12-week kickoff challenge. We are so happy that you are here today with us again. And Hilde says hello from Las Vegas.
Yes, I do.
I say hello from Austria. Lots of greetings. And today we would like to discuss a very interesting topic. So some people just shared with us that they're reflecting upon what to do next in life. Some people want to find out what's the next move. They want to think about career conviction and also how to deal with grief, clear up relationships. And it's always calling for a transition, a new phase in our life, a beautiful season change for something new to come. And that's going to be the topic for today. So welcome, Hilde, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I was sitting last night and I actually enjoyed and loved to just lay out a few points for today and thinking about life. You know, I thought life is always changing, constantly changing. And of course, we love to have a flow, to hit success, and that everything goes well, all the things that we wish. And it's known that a curveball is thrown at us from time to time, and we get surprised. It's a challenge, or we feel stuck. So I thought, you know, it's so well known when we say, make lemon juice out of lemons, or opportunities out of challenges. I think everybody has heard that before. Maybe it's a good reminder, thinking of it, that yes, when something hits, that we remind ourselves, how can I transform it and move forward? So we get easily stuck in different times of our life. And I first wanted to talk about what the signs are, because sometimes we are really not aware of it. We linger for a while, you know, we stay in this and it's just not very exciting. Maybe we're depressed. And so, and I just wanted to make points that when we are frustrated, exhausted, when we get sick, all these things are definitely signs of, there's something not in balance, and maybe we go the same cycle and hit a wall. And then we lose joy and creativity, I would say. Then, of course, when that is gone, then we start with the bad habits. You know, it could be eating too much. Some people drink, or they just let go of responsibilities and say, oh, the heck with it, and do things that bring them joy, but maybe not so thoughtful in order to repair and to move forward in positivity. Sometimes these things just really become a waste of time, or get us more into a negative memories, and then we regret it and we feel more guilt. So I thought, besides the signs, recognizing the signs, the next thing that we really need to do is, well, how do I get out of a place like that? And I wanted to say, or identify two things. That one thing is digging deeper. I mean, we need stillness. We need time where we step away from the big picture, where we look at our life, maybe as an outsider, right? Turn on the movie. How am I every day? What do I do every day? What's happening? And go into stillness, meditation, journaling, things like this, in order to identify what's really going on. But then, funny enough, it's just as important to go outside. So we need friends, or we need maybe professionals, just to tell the story, to have a sounding board, to get feedback from people, and to hear ourselves talk. Things like this, in order to find out what has happened, what's going on, and how do I move out of this? How do I move forward? So I would say then is also the next question is, where do I want to go? What is my goal? What do I, how did this happen? And I think points are always that we lost the balance. And when we lose balance, next thing is usually we have an empty love tank. We don't have the give and take, maybe we give out more than we get back from anything, or how we nourish ourselves. And in many cases in life, it's also that we either never found our purpose, or that we lost the purpose. We're doing things, just to pay, let's say, just to pay the bills. Maybe we agreed to something, and after a while we realize, well, I don't like to do that. This is robbing daily my energy. It's making me angry. I have resentments towards my life. And eventually we think, we do it, we have resentments towards others. We blame the world around us. We blame people around us, which is a part that falls into the bad habits. So identifying what has happened, where do we stand, and what is it really that is my purpose? What is it that I would love to do? How do I want to live? And that's where coaching comes in. Of course, friends and family is always the first place, I guess, where we are going, and we tell our girlfriends, hey, I really don't like what's going on, and I'm stuck, I feel miserable, and so on. And depending if they can help us, if we have friendships like this that go deep, and if we are surrounded by wise women, I want to say wise men and women, that comes from real love, then we often figure things out without a professional. But if it gets real bad, then I would say, read a book, go to a webinar, a weekend seminar, or hire a coach, or go to therapy. So summing this up, I would say, or I would want to repeat this, digging in for the voice inside is just as important as opening ourselves up for the voice outside, which is the reflection, feedback, help, and support. This is, maybe hopefully all helpful, and some theory. So I wrote out a list of the different points that comes with the video that we are sending to you. But I wanted to now identify the actual different seasons that a woman is going through in life. And so I thought, adolescent. Oh, we know that for every teenager, it's very hard, man or woman, female or male. I mean, that's just a tough time, because we come into the world and we want to be loved by the world, not just the people who have to love us because they are family, we are related to them. So that's a very challenging time, and this is where we also build some, or increase some of our self-worth, and find our values, what we want to live by, if we take with us what we got from home, or if we find new things. And so it's a confusing time, I would say. Then comes adult life, maybe marriage, motherhood, and working at the same time, having little kids, or even wanting to build a business. So that is a very active time as a woman, and it is probably the hardest time for most people, because we are so, I mean, you know that moment, right? You're in this time of life, Diana, where everybody wants, you know, the spouse wants, the child wants, the kitchen is calling, the laundry is calling, and building business. So that is a time where we can easily lose ourselves. And it is even more important that we sit down sometimes and find stillness. And that's a total different, I mean, I created actually a list for what to do when we get stuck and have challenges. I just want to say also the last season is then when the kids move out, empty nest, very, very famous time that women get depressed and wondering what's going on or searching for themselves again. It's a finding. And then retirement, wow, suddenly the guy is home all day. if your husband was gone and working, or had his business and was gone, or traveling even for business and so on, and suddenly we are facing an absolute new lifestyle. And I thought I would create a list for you, which comes in your email. We need to step away from our daily life and regularly sit down and check in, identify what's going on and what our need is and what other people are asking, or what our life is asking of ourselves, and how can I handle this more balanced. So I would say for that, we need prayer, meditation, journaling, girlfriends, and then, or even a professional. And then what is important, and Diana, you talked about this the other day, creating an environment that is good for us. So if it's removing clutter or bringing in colors, whatever it is, when we give away, then we create space for new blessings. I experienced that, I think it was 15 years ago, when I read the book from Shel Richardson, Take Time for Your Life, and she spoke about this. You know, when you shift something, something new comes in, and when you give away, blessing comes in. Eating healthy and exercising, we all know that's good to look at that from time to time and refresh, because we fall off the wagon, as I call it. I just did a few days ago. I was on this amazing diet, and the last few days I ate carbs and a little sugar, and I thought, okay, one more day like this, and then I'm gonna get back to my routine again. So it takes, you know, making boundaries, being very clear about things, and so on. Then for young mothers, I want to say, like I grew up in Austria, in a country where at that time the moms did everything and spoiled, and they were, at least I experienced it in my neighborhood, the women were working hard. We weren't asked to do, not much, to do the dishes or to help in the garden and things like this. I did it as a girl with my mother, but it wasn't a regular thing. And so I think today, where moms maybe work or have their own business, in order to take off some stress, make it easier, involve your children according to age, but do it as a family. Have family meetings and say, oh, it doesn't work out, these things are. And, you know, some here, they're stressed, they're unhappy, and how can we solve the problem? And when we do it as a group and let the kids make suggestions, then it's easier for them to actually take on responsibility and keep with it. I also want to suggest to create a family plan for the year, so that you are clearly having times where there's nothing going on. I call it the still time. I mean, nothing, the regular things, working, school, and so on. But then looking forward to events, family celebrations or holidays, whatever it is, something that you create that is where the family is like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I love doing this. And I would suggest, in order to create character and also find a belonging beyond one's own family, it is very nice to serve, to find something to serve the community as a family, if it's soup kitchen or help the neighbors, older neighbors around. It does create a healthy belonging and gives kids the idea of we're also living for others. I would say today is real important because kids are raised, maybe more spoiled or influenced by just satisfying themselves with all the gadgets that we have, from phone and computer games and so on. And it is important to have family meetings, planning, and giving to the community. With that, you will definitely increase the happiness and bring the energy on a new level in your home. So if it's okay, Diana, I want to just say a little bit about the time of emptiness and retirement, because I saw also comments that come in from you, from those who are at that point in their life, that depression hits and kind of a feeling, well, what's going on? Where am I? What can I do now? Some are glad to retire and are busy, and others have a hard time when the kids aren't around. And as mothers, we focus so much on the relationship to children that suddenly it's like the occupation of our mind and heart. This is gone, and there's emptiness. And that is important to become aware of and change. So I thought I'd write out, you will get this in an email. So I listed some of the things, like pulling out photo albums and relive memories. Maybe you hire a service and get everything in order, digital, pass it on to the kids. Another idea was writing a little bit a diary, as you see your grandchildren, for your grandchildren, as you see your grandkids growing up. I think it is nice. I started that for my older grandson, to somehow write moments where you feel like the child is struggling, but you want to, or they have success, it doesn't matter, but you want to especially point out and create a story around it. And when the children read it later, years down the road, that it often helps in shifting their personal viewpoint, maybe their values, their self-esteem, when they see how they were watched. Grandma watched them grow up. Researching your ancestry, writing stories, writing your biography, and I would say learning self-conversations is a good one. So a communication tool in order to restore, renew, and correct family and friends relationships. I am a coach, as you know, and I hear a lot of stories and deal also with people that age, and I see how much burden it is when relationships aren't in order, and that is a core need. When it's known, right? When people lay on their deathbed, the only thing they say was important, that this or that event and relationship, and we don't want to say on our deathbed how we felt with the other person and how much we loved them. And that is one of my efforts. I remind all my friends, write love letters, approach the people you want, or correct things where there's a little bit of iffy feeling, it's not good there. Let's not wait until we are sick or on the deathbed. And then a list of creativity and creating joyful projects. So what I started in my home now, I changed all my colors, I redecorated, and I put things around so I'm reminded. I mean, I have my basket with my knitting. I have the roll on the floor so I lay down, do exercises, stretching, and roll my back. I have journals around, so I would journal more, be reminded. And I have a list on a board of things that I want to do throughout the week. I can't do all of it every day, but throughout the week. So have books, journals, and art and craft things around. If it's sewing, knitting, or take a class, painting. I'm just looking into dancing classes, ballroom dancing, singing lessons, things like this, and get into new music, at different times of the day, play different music in order to lift your mood. Because one thing is, when we get older, we have to work hard on that. Either the energy or the hormones, whatever it is really good to help with music. Gardening, landscaping, making a new herb or flower garden, or have a greenhouse, travel, make a plan how you visit your adult children throughout the country in case they're all over the place like mine. It takes time and planning and money to get to them and to be with grandchildren. Or then I also thought something total different. There's a book, My Year at the Sea, I think it's called, or A Year at the Sea. And I thought, why not being creative and maybe plan something extravagant in that way or different. I'm lucky in this way. I have two brothers in Croatia who both have a house on the water. And so that is in my plan that at some point I'll go 3 or 4 months and write and just spend time like that. Or go on a mission trip. And the last thing that I wrote on that list was that I learned in Vienna when I was visiting in May, that they have in a very affluent neighborhood where my brother lives, there's actually women grandmothers, who are volunteering to be the grandma that comes to school and reads with the kids. And some families would adopt the grandma and they bring them home. And women who are lonely otherwise, or they feel like, I can contribute, they go and teach reading or read stories to kids because mom and dad don't have time. So I feel like, hopefully through all this, that you got the idea that I got to plan a better life, or I got to plan a life that I feel like I live to the fullest, no matter what season, but I can be balanced, I can stay healthy, and I have joy in my life. So hopefully all that was interesting to you.
Wow, thank you, Hilde. That was a lot of great tips. I feel I'm ready now for retirement and I don't need to be scared anymore. Because you gave so many ideas of how to fill the time and overcome the loneliness. And I think that's probably one of the things that people experience, right? When they're retired, they are lonely.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's definitely.
Work is gone, children are gone. Like, what's your mission? What's your purpose?
Yeah.
You find yourself with so much free time, but you gave a lot of good tips on what to do, nurturing yourself, getting creative, taking care of the grandchildren. It's interesting you said that the journal from grandma watching her grandson, because just this week I thought I want to buy a journal for my son, and I've throughout until he's 18 years old, I want to write down these special events where I feel these are moments, key moments where he would need to hear this later on. And so I just wrote yesterday a first long letter.
Wow.
Which I will put in the journal.
I love it.
Just so, you know, everything I have observed and learned from him, because he just turned 1 year old, everything what happened in the first year, you know, his strong points. And I think it's very valuable. It's tremendously valuable when children read that later. They feel so loved.
Yeah.
And that's really the most important part, to be confident in life and to believe in yourself, is when you feel loved by your family members. So thank you for bringing up that point. That was a wonderful point. I just want to add 4 questions that I also have prepared for maybe the younger moms, maybe who are thinking about either moms, or they don't have to be a mom, it doesn't matter, when you want to maybe change your career, or you're thinking about going back into working when you were a stay-at-home mom and you have the new phase of life that you want to enter and you feel ready to, yet you don't know exactly what you want to do. And so first, I want to say it's always good to do that in a meditative state, because often, when it's so loud and there's so much noise and information, Hilde was talking a little bit about it. What did you say? The outside voice and then versus the inside voice? Something like that.
Yeah. What I meant was we need still time to go inside and ask ourselves, or watch the movie of our life from an outsider. So that's going inside into me and really identifying what's going on. And the outside, it was about, we need to go when we are stuck or things are shifting and unclear or out of balance, that we reach out for help.
Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, I really like the points that you made, Hilde, about how to even identify that we are in a transition phase. Because you said in the beginning, often it's just like we're just lingering around, we don't really get it, but then once we realize, because you mentioned now some points where we can identify that we are in such a phase, and once we realize that, it's good to take those moments and to go inside, shut off the outside world and just listen to your heart. Do a 5-minute breathing exercise to really just calm down and come to your core. And then ask yourself the 4 following questions. And that will be also in the email. And the first one would be, when you think of what you want to do now, what is the next step you want to do? Then you want to ask yourself, what is the most pressing need of the time? What is the most pressing need of the time? And you just need to check the news if you don't know really what's going on in the world, because there's so many different areas of or needs that needs to be met. But don't get lost in the news. We can still see and still feel the effects of the worldwide pandemic with all the mental health crisis that is brought more and more to our awareness. There's the war going on in Ukraine. Those are big topics. There's the refugee crisis. There's the climate change. These are really big topics calling for a bigger mission. But there's also our neighbors, our community, who are in need, older women, or like Hilde mentioned, kindergarten or school children without a grandma, and this older ladies coming in being the grandmothers, which is such a beautiful idea. And there's so many different needs that we have right now, today. And just reflect upon that and think about it. What is it that the world needs right now on all the different levels? And then the second question you want to ask yourself is, what are my unique gifts and talents? What am I very good at? What comes easy to me? In my case, I know I'm very good with paperwork and documents, but I honestly don't like this at all. My husband always says, but yeah, you're so great in that. And I said, yeah, but I hate it actually. It's not my passion. But what I am really passionate about is everything about health, mental health, emotional health, physical health. So I'm sure there is something that is really your interest, and if you enjoy this, you enjoy it, like Hilde was saying also, she enjoyed just to write down some points, because it's her passion. It's where her heart and her energy can freely flow, and it comes easy. And so the third question would be, what among those options, the needs of the time, and also your unique gifts and talents, what among those options would you want to do? And that is often when it gets a little tricky, because we know sometimes we say, out of our stress mode that we are in, out of the overwhelm, we do things and want things that are not healthy for us. And we would choose the unhealthy option. But when you really go in this meditative state and really just listen to your heart, what your heart inspiration is telling you, then you can often find the answer and just see what comes up of what is it that you really want from your heart, your desire from your heart. And then the last question would be, what would you like to do at this moment? Because sometimes we have this desire, right? As a child, maybe I wanted to become the news reporter, because I thought, when I uncover all the bad guys in the world, then I can save the world, and I can really help and contribute. So I wanted to actually become a news reporter, because I watched Superman, and Lois Lane always did a wonderful job with Superman, uncovering the bad guys and really contributing to something great. But it's not my desire anymore today, of course. And it also changes as we transition in our life, based on our age, based on if we have children, if we are alone, if we have a partner, based on our health situation. What can we do right now? So really thinking about, what is it that you want to do right now in the situation that you are in? And I think those are some also great questions to really think about in a meditative state, when you feel, okay, I want to make a shift, I want to transition to something new, but I don't know really yet what it is. Then sit down, reflect, and ask yourself these questions. And I think that's quite a lot we gave for you today. I think we tackled almost every phase in life. I'm really happy about the retirement ideas that you gave. I'm going to put that list on the side for myself to use that in 30 or 40 years, because yeah, I know a lot of people, in a situation like this, and I think it's so valuable and hopeful also to get all those ideas and to listen from you, what you are doing, because you are older, you're not retired yet, you're still working, but just to hear how you are spending your day, and to see that is very inspiring, what you are doing. Yeah, just to see how we can manage our day in a healthy way.
I think when we begin to focus on this and tell our soul, I will take care of you, I want to make a better life for you, for your soul, then new things come up.
Yeah.
Like I was bike riding the other day, it was a Saturday a few weeks ago, and there's yard sales in America, right? So just down the street, somebody sold a basketball hoop. I had no plan of buying anything. And I thought, basket, if that comes, it kind of showed up in my life. So we dragged the thing down the street in front of my house. And now I actually have a solution like never before when I'm exhausted after sessions. And I don't really want to go to the gym, or I can't leave for a long time. And I go out and I throw a few balls. Then the neighborhood came, the kids across the street came. Now the whole street knows that they have permission, there's a sign on it, play me. So they have permission that they can, with their own ball, of course, they can come down anytime and play in front of my house on the street, and a few more people gathered. And I felt like, wow, this is really bringing joy back and increasing the energy in the neighborhood. And I know that there's more things that I will think of over time.
Nice. Very nice idea.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, well, I think so too. This was quite a list, and giving you things to think about, homework, and we loved having you. Thank you, Diana, for your input.
Thank you, Hilde, for your
And
sharing.
and we see you again every week, as we promised, that we read your questions and respond to it. So thank you. Till next time.
Till next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.